Hi, I'm Chris with CJM Industries. Today we're going to cover the install of our V1 chassis mounted splitter on a 7.5 GTI. We'll go through the bumper removal, as well as some tips and tricks for installing brackets, and then we'll show you the completed product. We're going to start with a T25. We'll remove the 4 screws in each fender well, and then we'll take 2 off the top of the grill, and then there's 7 along the bottom of the bumper. From there, we can remove the grill and we'll pop the bumper off. We have to unplug the fog lights as we take the bumper off, so make sure you have something under the bumper to support it, and then we'll continue on. Now that we have the bumper off, the next thing we're going to do is take a T30 and remove this bumper support. There's 3 bolts across the top here. We're also going to remove the 2 for the hood latch. And a quick tip here is to use a Sharpie to mark this. It makes it easier to line it back up when we go to reinstall it. Now with the bumper support removed, we have access to these 2. This is an M10, and then we're also going to remove the horn, which is M10 triple square. Now that we have the hood latch bracket and the horn removed, we're going to remove the headlight. So we're going to use a T30. We have a screw on the side, 1 on the back, 1 on the fender support, and then 1 up front. A quick tip here is to adjust the screw in the front here. That'll help us realign the headlight when we reinstall everything. Now that we have the headlights removed, we have access to the crash bar bolts. So we're going to remove these 4 on each side. That's a 16 millimeter. You also have a T30 top and bottom for this core support. And then last, we have to remove the ambient temp sensor here. We do need to support the intercooler and the rad because the crash bar is what holds this in place. So underneath, we have jack stands and some blocks of wood just to keep it steady. With the crash bar removed, we're now going to work on the table. It's a little easier. Our brackets have a letter on them for the driver and passenger side. We have the crash bar flipped upside down, so our driver side's over here. Passenger side, we're going to start with the bracket at this height setting. You'll see that the logo is just visible, and these are going to sit on top of here. We'll use one of the bolts from the crash bar itself, and then the included nut to secure that, to hold it in place while we mark for our drilling locations. With our brackets loosely bolted in place, we can now drop on our center bracket. We'll use this to set the distance between the two, and then we're going to measure the width. We're looking for 39 3/8 or 100 millimeters. With our top bracket installed, we're now going to double check our measurement on the brackets. We're going to go outside to outside. Again, we're looking for 39 3/8 or 100 centimeters. From there, once we set that, we just want to make sure that we're even with our outside brackets, and then we can tighten down the bolt back here. Next, we're going to drill our holes in the crash bar. So for this step, we're going to need a drill, a center punch with a hammer, or a spring-loaded punch. And we also offer a drill bit set. It's a 4mm pilot hole bit and then a step drill bit. Also suggest some cutting fluid to make this quicker. With our holes now marked on the crash bar, we can remove the brackets off and we can drill our holes. We're gonna put this in a vise to make it easier to hold. While you're drilling steel, it's a good idea to go slow. Use some sort of lubricant. WD-40 works okay. And you're looking for chips when you drill steel, not dust. If it's dust, you're going too quickly. Now that we have the holes drilled, we can bolt our brackets in place. We're going to use the 10mm bolts. They're going to go up through and then into the bracket. To do this, we're going to use a 15mm wrench and 15mm socket on a ratchet. Now that we have the brackets attached, we can reinstall the crash bar onto the car. We're going to start with the 4 bolts on each side, and then we'll align the core support to those brackets. Now that we have the crash bar loosely bolted on, we can go back and torque all 8 bolts. We're going to do 40 foot-pounds or 55 Newton-meters. With the crash bar torqued, we can now align the core support. We're just going to do this hole and then one down below. And we do have some movement here, so we'll just make sure that we can align this so we can get these bolts in place properly. We're going to remove the nut so we can take the horn off the bracket. And then we can reinstall our bracket here and reinstall the bolt. With our bracket installed, we have to modify this so it leaves clearance for the rod supports. So we're just going to take a pair of pliers, bend this bracket down. And then we can reinstall our horn. With everything bolted on and torqued down, we can now move on to the hood latch bracket, the upper bumper support, and then we'll reinstall our headlights. To reinstall our bumper, we need to make clearance for the lower bracket and the rods. You have 2 options here. You can either remove this center section of the splash tray. You can pop your clips all the way across and this whole center will come out. The other option is to trim it. You can use an oscillating tool or a cutoff wheel, and we're going to cut from one end. We'll cut up to the tabs all the way across just to clear that center section out so it has room to slide back in place. Now that our car is back together, we can do the last few steps. We're going to bolt our bracket onto the blade, and then we can lift this whole assembly back onto the car. Now that our blade is installed and our rods are in place, we can reinstall our bumper. We want to make sure that we plug back in our fog lights And then we can install our grill, put the screws across the top of the grill and through the fender liner, and then we can wrap up this install. That concludes our install of our V1 chassis mounted splitter on a 7.5 GTI. We offer 3 versions of this kit: a V1, which was shown in this video, a V2 that has an integrated air dam, and we also offer a V3 that's more track oriented. Great thing about this is the brackets are the same for each, so you could swap a different blade on if you're ready to upgrade. We do offer these brackets powder coated black, as you saw in this video, but we can leave them raw if you're looking to coat it yourself, and we also offer a clear coating. This product, along with all of our others, come with written and photo instructions. And if you need any other help in the meantime, you can email us at support@cjmind.com, or you can contact us through our website or social media.